Every day, an
Sell fast
11-year-old
today
boy
and hurry
walked
home
these
before
streets
dark.
selling groundnuts to help his family. One customer changed everything. The one man who could explain what happened to him didn't survive the weekend in police custody. This is the origin story of a rumor every Nigerian has heard. In the 1990s, in the Nigerian city of Owerri, people started noticing something. Certain families were suddenly impossibly rich. New mansions, new cars, money nobody could quite explain. Everyone had a theory about where it came from. Almost nobody said it out loud. Then, in September of 1996, an 11-year-old boy walked into a hotel to sell groundnuts, and nobody in Owerri would ever look at that unspoken theory the same way again. This is the origin story of a rumor every Nigerian has heard in one form or another. And it's also the story of a man who knew the whole truth and never got the chance to tell it in court. His name was Anthony Ikechukwu Okoronkwo. Everyone just called him by his surname, Okoronkwo. He was 11. Every day, he carried a tray of boiled groundnuts through the streets of Owerri's Amakohia area, selling them to whoever would buy, to help support his family. On the morning of September 19th, 1996, a Thursday, his mother told him what she told him most mornings.
Sell fast today and hurry home before
He
dark.
never made it home. A man named Innocent Ekeanyanwu, 32 years old, a gardener at a well-known local hotel called Otokoto, beckoned him over. To an 11-year-old hawking groundnuts, a hotel customer meant a good sale. He followed him inside. What happened next, the courts would spend years unpacking. Okoronkwo was given a drink laced with a sedative. He lost his life inside the hotel. His remains were buried on the property. We're not going to describe what was done to his body in detail. What matters is this: it was extensive, it was deliberate, and it was consistent with what Nigerians call money ritual. The belief that human remains, taken a certain way, can be turned into wealth. At home, his mother waited. Sell fast, hurry home before dark, he'd been told. Dark came, and he didn't. She went looking,
Has anyone
walking
seen my
through
son?
Owerri's
He should have
streets
been
that
home by
night,
now.
asking everyone she passed if they'd seen her
Has
son.
anyone seen
The
my
break in
son?
the case came
He
almost
should
by
have been
accident.
home by now.
An Okada rider, a motorcycle taxi driver, gave Ekeanyanwu a ride and noticed something dripping from the bag he was carrying. Blood. He said something. Word reached the police. Ekeanyanwu was intercepted on the road.
Wait there.
When police searched him and later
Let me see
searched
those.
the hotel grounds, they didn't just find evidence of one crime. They found buried remains, multiple sets, in flower beds, in inconspicuous corners of the property. This isn't a story about one killing. It's a story about how long this hotel had apparently been used this way, and how long nobody had asked questions. A senior officer at the scene reportedly told his team something like this.
This isn't one body. Keep digging there, all of it.
Police a confession, and in it, he named names, specifically a local businessman named Leonard Unaogu, brother to a minister serving in the federal
me the
government
truth.
at the time. Ekeanyanwu said Unaogu was the one who'd ordered him to bring a human head. This is where the story should have become a straightforward, if horrifying, case of justice moving forward. It didn't. On September 22nd, a Sunday, just days after his arrest, Ekeanyanwu was found dead in his police cell. An autopsy found he'd been poisoned. The one man who could have walked prosecutors through the entire network, in his own words, on the stand, in open court, never got the chance.
Someone wants him quiet before this goes to
Three
trial.
police officers were later convicted and given the maximum sentence for his death in custody. Think about what that means. The state's own officers ended the state's own key witness's life while he was in the state's own custody before trial. That's the part of this story that should unsettle you more than the hotel itself.
Police have just confirmed
When
the
a photograph
identity
connected to
of
the
the
case
primary
reached
suspect
local
in this
television on
gruesome series
September
of crimes.
24th,
He was living
Owerri
among
didn't
them
wait for the
unnoticed
courts.
for years.
People abandoned their shops and jobs and gathered in the town's central marketplace. For 2 days, the city
We are
rioted.
tired of waiting for
They
answers that
burned
never
the
come.
Otokoto
We
hotel to
stand
the ground.
united for the truth.
They burned other properties belonging to people they suspected of the same thing. Unexplained wealth, whispered about ritual money. They tore down the palace of a local traditional ruler after he was implicated. This wasn't random anger. Every building that burned was a building somebody in that crowd had quietly suspected for years. The state government convened a panel of inquiry to figure out what had actually caused the riots. Not just the crime, but the years of unspoken suspicion underneath it. The businessman Ekian Yanwu had named Leonard Unaogu was arrested. So was Vincent Duru, the hotel's owner, who would become known publicly simply as Chief Otokoto. Both men denied ever knowing each other. The court
You were
didn't
seen
believe
at
them.
the scene.
Trial began in December of 1996.
That is not true.
It took years. Witness after witness took the
The
stand.
court will now hear the witness.
In February of 2003, nearly 7 years after Okoronkwo's death, a judge
I have
sentenced
considered
all
all
7
the
defendants,
evidence.
known by them
defendant
as the
is found
Otokoto
guilty.
7, to the maximum penalty. It would
With
take
his final
another
stand,
13 years for that
the verdict
sentence
was
to
made
actually
official.
be carried out. Vincent Duru was executed in November of 2016, 20 years after an 11-year-old boy went out to sell groundnuts and never came home. There's still a lot this case never fully answered. Some accounts suggest this hotel and networks like it had been operating since as far back as the 1970s. Nobody knows exactly how many people were buried on that property, or how many were ever identified and returned to their families. And the wider question, how many other officials, other wealthy families, benefited from the same silence, was never fully prosecuted. Only the people directly tied to Okoronkwo's death faced justice. The system underneath it mostly stayed standing. Here's what's harder to sit with. This isn't just a 1996 story. The specific promise that ordinary people can trade something dark for extraordinary wealth never really went away. It just changed shape. Today, a version of that same promise circulates among young Nigerians online, in different language, through different channels, tied to internet fraud culture and get-rich-quick schemes that borrow the same old logic. Shortcuts to wealth that skip the years everyone else has to put in. We're not saying it's the same crime. It isn't. But it's the same wound in the culture, dressed differently for a new
Sell
generation.
fast today and hurry
The
home before
Otokoto
dark.
case didn't end that suspicion. It just gave it a name.
Has anyone seen my
Okoronkwo
son?
was
He
11.
should have been home by
He
now.
was selling groundnuts to help his family, the same as thousands of other children across Nigeria were doing that same week, that same year. His name deserves to outlast the rumor his death accidentally created. This is Otokoto, the origin story of a rumor every Nigerian has heard, and the trial that never quite finished answering the questions it started with. If this story stayed with you, that's exactly what this channel is here for. Every Saturday, we go beneath the surface of another story like this one. The crime, the scandal. Every crime has a surface story that everyone talks about, and a dark truth underneath that nobody wants to say out loud. The scandal, the culture, the people who made it possible, the system that looked away. Every Saturday, we go beneath the surface. Dark Chronicles, Africa, the crime, the scandal, the truth.